Welcome back, everyone, to Mr. 4K channel, a Boosteroid partner here. We're testing out Spider-Man Remastered, which is also part of Boosteroid as well. As a matter of fact, all of the PlayStation PC games are part of the Boosteroid. So if you love PlayStation games, if you love Rockstar games, don't worry, Boosteroid got you covered. So this is being recorded in native 4K. Let's jump into Spider-Man Remastered. Let's not waste any time, and let me show you how well it runs, okay? So without any further ado, let's go ahead. We have to accept all of this, of course. I'll use my controller for this. So let's go to settings really quick, just to make sure everything's in 4K. Upscale sharpness, we'll move it up to 5. 60 hertz, we'll turn on the frame generation as well. Dynamic resolution scaling is going to be at 60. VSync's turned on. As you can see, we got AMD Radeon RX 7900 XT. And it's running in a full screen 3840 by 2160. 3840 by 2160. All right. So let's click play. We'll check in additional graphic settings once we're inside the game. And we'll look at the additional advanced graphic settings. Please watch this video in a native 4K on your 4K television through your YouTube app. If you are not at home and you have to watch it on your phone, I understand. But I would still appreciate if you would watch this video in a 4K television, on a 4K television, because that's the whole point of this. The whole point of these videos that I upload in 4K is to show you Boosteroid and how it looks like when you're running it in a 4K. Now, you have to be part of the 4K Ultra tier, which is only $9.89. It's probably the cheapest ever, $9.89. So this is me showing you the Boosteroid and the performance of Boosteroid. So let's go to the settings. Okay. Let me turn on my controller. You can use a PlayStation controller as well. Boosteroid does support PlayStation 5 controller, just in case you guys are wondering about that. So let's look at the graphics. As you can see, AMD Radeon RX 7900 XT, Radeon RX 7900 XT, which gives you 20 gigabytes of GDDR6 RAM, 4K resolution. Of course, we're not using HDR because the Boosteroid doesn't support HDR at the moment. We're using FSR 3. Okay, FSR 3 is turned on. Upscale sharpness, dynamic resolution scaling at 60. So this should look really, really good. Graphics, as you can see, texture filtering, we'll move it up to 16. Ray trace reflection, we'll turn it on. Okay. Just have to wait for the ray trace reflection to be turned on. Everything set to high on ray tracing. Level of detail, everything set to high. Okay. High, high, high. Hair quality high. So as you can see, everything's set to high. Everything's in the 4K, FSR 3, dynamic 4K. And yes, we have the ray trace reflection. Reflection resolution high, geometry detail high. So object range, it's at 6. And texture filtering, it's set to 16 times. And texture quality is set to high. So I'll show you this so you know what we are running on. Alright, so let's go ahead and let's continue.
Should swing by the lab and see why Doc's so excited.
60 FPS, look at that. Smooth as a butter 60 FPS performance. Guys. That's amazing.
1079, we have an active bomb threat. Backup needed.
I'm not going to do any missions. I just want to kind of like just spin the webs, go around the city to show you how it looks. You know, because that's what you guys want to see, right? Me swinging my webs. Let's go to the Empire State Building, by the way. $60 FPS, guys. And remember, we're using a codec H.265. You can see it on the top left corner of the screen that we're using a H.265 codec. Now people say, what's the big deal about this codec? Well, the big deal is that's the Blu-ray quality codec. That's the same codec that you see on your 4K UHD Blu-ray. That's the same codec that you see on Netflix. A lot of people say, why does the Netflix look so high quality? It's almost like watching a 4K Blu-ray disc, because they're using a very high bitrate codec, and my bitrate it's 50 megabits per second. All right. Now let's talk about the ray tracing, guys. As you can see, AMD can handle the ray tracing, but to me, can I be honest? To me, ray tracing has never been that big of a deal. I never cared about the ray tracing that much. I didn't care about it back in 2017, or was it 2016, when the very first RTX 2070 and 2080 came out. I was among the very first ones to actually, believe it or not, to review EVGA's first flagship RTX GPUs, and I was testing the Battlefield. Back then, I forgot which Battlefield it was. Was it Battlefield 1, I think? And I was testing it, and I didn't care much about the ray tracing back then, and I clearly don't care about the ray tracing now. Now, if ray tracing is that important to you, then that's fine. Turn it on. But to me, I never cared about it, and I don't care about it today, honestly. Just my personal opinion about the ray tracing. Everybody's so stuck up on the ray tracing, especially the GeForce Now fanboys are so stuck on that ray tracing, you know. Ray tracing, path tracing, as if they're gonna see it. Okay, so this is what they have to do. Let me show you what the GeForce Now fanboys have to do. This is what they're doing. And I'm sorry that I have to bring this up, but this is what they're looking at. They have to stop. Okay, the GeForce Now fanboys have to stop to look at the reflection. Oh, I need to see the reflection. Oh my God. I need to see this reflection. This reflection is very important to me. I don't care about that reflection, because I don't have time to stop and to look around, you know. Oh no, they're gonna say no, but you know, you need to. Okay, let's say I'm a GeForce Now fanboy, and I want to look at my reflection. Okay, I have to stop here, and I have to come here to see my reflection. Oh my God. Oh my God. There's my reflection there. Wow. Why is that so important to you guys? Why is this ray tracing reflection so important? I'll never understand for the life of me this gimmick that you really will not notice, because you're too busy swinging the webs, bro. You're too busy moving around. You're too busy fighting the enemies. You don't have time to be stopping around and looking at the ray tracing, dude. Like. But if you want the ray tracing, yeah, it's available on AMD. Yes, NVIDIA is doing it a little bit better. Granted, yes, NVIDIA is doing it a little better. But honestly, guys, who really cares? Who cares? I certainly don't care. And I don't want to make, a big argument about this, talking about this. I just get tired of listening to GeForce Now fanboys just bragging about the path tracing and the ray tracing, as if it's like the greatest thing since the Giza's pyramids, right? It's like the greatest thing since the Giza's pyramids. Like, give me a break, man. So as you can see, runs great. People out there who talk negative about the Boosteroid, listen, guys. People out there who talk negative about Boosteroid, keep in mind they're not someone who actually tested the service. These individuals never tested the service. The only service they're using is the NVIDIA GeForce Now. And that's why I call them GeForce Now fanboys. Because I just don't know how else to call them. I have to call people for what they are. And I know my partners don't like me like mentioning this stuff, but I have to, really. I have to call people for what they are. Okay? I call you based on your actions and what you do. If you are acting like a fanboy, I'm going to call you a fanboy, and you are a fanboy. I don't care if you're a PlayStation fanboy, Xbox fanboy, Nintendo fanboy, PC Master Race, etc., etc. If you are acting like a fanboy, I will call you for what you are. And I've been getting a lot of GeForce Now fanboys trying to play this narrative that, oh, Boosteroid is terrible, terrible data centers, nothing works, everything sucks. It's horrible. Everything's horrible. And then you look at their profile. You look at their YouTube channel. All they do is talk about NVIDIA GeForce Now. Not one single video. Not one single video about Boosteroid. They're so biased. It's hard for me to have a conversation with somebody who's biased. I've tested both GeForce Now and Boosteroid. And what have I found out? I have found out that Boosteroid is better because they give me a more affordable ability to enjoy high-end gaming like this because I don't have a high-end PC. And they're giving me the opportunity to enjoy this for as little as $9.89. And they're not putting any limitations. They're not putting any limitations on how much I can play. They're not giving me a limit 8-hour session, and then after that 100-hour limitation per month, and then if you go over that limit you have to pay additional $6 for 15 hours a day. Okay, they're ripping you off. Why would you want to support the company that's ripping you off when there's other options out there? That's the beauty about competition. That's why we have competition. All right, these guys are charging me how much? No, thank you. How much are these guys are charging me? Oh, well, I'll go with these guys. These guys are better. But you see, I'm speaking from an experience. I have tested both GeForce Now and Boosteroid. And having that perspective of testing both services, I can tell you from my experience which one is better. Okay? I don't just talk from a biased experience. Now, if NVIDIA change its policy, if NVIDIA starts, putting no limitations, if they remove all, listen, if NVIDIA removes all of the limitations, if they remove all of the limitations, if there's no more limitations, if you can play as much as you want to play and there's not even an 8-hour session, you can play as much as you want to play as long as you're paying a monthly subscription, okay. All right then, all right. And if their data centers are accessible and I can access the 5080 without any issues and there's no limitations, play as much as you want to play, no limitations, then yeah, of course, sure, I'll give them the credit. But right now they're not doing that. They're not doing that. They're not doing that. They're putting limitations because they're greedy. I already talked about that. That's a greedy company that only cares about profit and revenue. They don't really care about what your experience is going to be like. And I'm sorry that I have to talk about this, guys, but I have to mention it because if I don't mention this, then it's almost like I'm ignoring this giant elephant in the room or this giant gazilla in the room. Because there's a drastic difference between GeForce Now and Boosteroid. And that's the contrast difference that I'm trying to showcase here. Not to mention the fact that you cannot play Spider-Man. You cannot play any of the PlayStation games on GeForce Now. So right there, you're limited. Not only can you not play any of the PlayStation games on GeForce Now, but you can't also play Rockstar games. Just those two facts. Just those two facts. You can't play PlayStation games and you can't play Rockstar games.
Doc sounded so excited.
Just right there, dude. It just, that's it for me. And on top of everything else, you are limited. You are limited to how much can you play. And on top of that, they're charging you $20 a month. Should I go on? Should I go on just how greedy the green NVIDIA team GeForce Now is? Should I go on? Half of you were not even able to access your 5080. Even on a German server, you were not able to access. Should I go on? I rest my case. This case is closed. Guys, I don't mean to sound so passionate, but I have to bring out the point. It's the only way I can bring out the point. All right? Now, once NVIDIA stops being greedy and once they start doing right by the customer, then maybe when that day comes, when that time comes, then maybe I'll give them the credit and say, okay, they're doing it right now. But they're not doing that right now. They're not doing that. They're not doing anything right for the customer, okay? So why should I give them any credit if they refuse to do right things for the customer? And right now they're not doing that. Okay? Right now they're not doing that. When they start doing that, when they decide to do right by the customer. And what do I mean by doing it right by the customer? Meaning when they decide not to be so greedy, when they decide not to rip you off, then maybe I'm going to say, okay, all right, maybe it's time that I rejoin NVIDIA. But until that day, until GeForce Now finally decides not to be so greedy and stop putting limitations and stop ripping people off, maybe I'll say, all right, maybe it's time that I join this service. But right now, like, it makes no sense for me to join GeForce Now. For what? Why would I when I have Boosteroid here? And I got Boosteroid as a partner, and they're much, much better. And as a matter of fact, Boosteroid will be upgrading their virtual machines with a Ryzen 9 9000 series CPUs and RX Radeon 9000 GPUs, powerhouse of AMD, with additional 42 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM. For as little as $9.89. This is not a science project. This is not a brain surgery project. It's not a rocket science project. We're not trying to back engineer a propulsion system on a UFO in an Area 51. This is a common sense, guys. Everything that I do, it's a common sense. All right? I use common sense all the time. I stick to common sense and facts. That's how I do everything on my channel. Common sense and facts. Not based on some bias opinion. I don't care about your biased opinion. It's irrelevant to me. What's relevant to me is this. Here I am showing you this game. Running at a 60 FPS with codec H265. Smooth as a butter. And I don't even have a high-end PC. And you're trying to tell me that your PS5 Pro will be running this better? That somehow your PS5 Pro will be running this better than 7900 XT and a Ryzen Epic 32 cores Zen 4 CPU? I don't think so. And an additional 28 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM and video memory RAM GDDR 6 RAM of 20 gigabytes of GDDR6 RAM 20 gigabytes, which is more than plenty of GDDR6 RAM 20 gigabytes. So are you trying to tell me that? And again, no offense to PS5 Pro. What PS5 Pro doing is a console, it's pretty amazing. But if you think that your $800 PS5 Pro console will do something better than this, then you are delusional. You are truly I'm sorry, I hate to say it. You don't understand technology. You, my friend, do not understand how technology works. You should educate yourself on how it works. And I hate to be so direct. I hate to be so, but this is the only way I can communicate with some of you fanboys out there. This is the only way I can get the message. All right, before we end this live stream, not live stream, but this video, I want to go to the Statue of Liberty really quick. Can I go there? I want to see if I can go to the Statue of Liberty. Is it possible for me? How quickly can I go to the Statue of Liberty? I don't know. I can't believe I said live stream. Sorry guys, I cannot have this kind of quality on a live stream. It's not going to happen. That's why we're recording this video like this. And I'm sorry if I'm like yelling and being so passionate. Try to understand, I'm trying to make a point, guys, and it's frustrating to me to communicate with some of you because you're so brainwashed by, you know, being a fanboy, and you can't seem to accept any facts regarding what Boosteroid is doing. Even though I'm recording this video, I'm showing you the Boosteroid, you're still going to say, no, NVIDIA is better. NVIDIA is just better. NVIDIA can do better. NVIDIA is just better. Everything about NVIDIA is better. How am I supposed to talk to you, dude? If you're going to ignore what I'm showing you here, right? And you're just going to talk to me about NVIDIA, how NVIDIA is great. I can't have a conversation with you, dude, bro. Alright? I don't think anybody can have a conversation with you. Unless they happen to have the same mindset and they're the same NVIDIA fanboys and they believe in the same NVIDIA GeForce Now crap and drinking the same NVIDIA GeForce Kool-Aid, then yeah. But a guy like me who is unbiased and I'm showing you here the proof, the evidence, the credibility, I know what I'm talking about, guys. I know what I'm talking about. Can we go to the, I don't think we can. To the Statue of Liberty. It's a bit of a stretch. Yeah. It's too far away. Alright guys, so it's been 23 minutes. I think I said enough. I think I showed you enough. I think you've seen it enough. You know. There it is, guys. There's your Spider-Man. Looks great, runs great. Alright. Alright, so but I'm pretty sure people down on the comments will start defending their GeForce Now. How amazing their GeForce Now is. And they're just going to ignore this. We're just gonna ignore this. He's running at a 60 FPS. We're just gonna ignore it. We're going to ignore everything. We're just gonna, you know, drink that NVIDIA GeForce Now Kool-Aid. Well, I'm not making this video for NVIDIA GeForce Now fanboys. I'm making this video for people who are on the fence. Okay, and I want them to see that a guy like me, who doesn't have the greatest internet on the planet, I have like mediocre internet at best, it's able to achieve something like this. Alright? Alright guys, it's 24 minutes. Time for me to end this video. Alright, so there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Okay? And make sure you guys visit www.boosteroid.com. Okay? That's www.boosteroid.com. Go visit them. Make sure you register. Do a test to see if you qualify. for their service. And if you do, it's only $9.89. There's no contract. You can cancel anytime you want. It's only $9.89, man. It's like, how much cheaper do you want him to go with, man? For $9.89, man. Seriously. So go ahead, sign up, give it a try, and let me know what you think. Okay? All right. Thank you for watching. God bless you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.